All right. Thank you for being here. Look, I'm going to be straight with you from the start because your time matters. I'm not about to sell you fixed matches. I'm not going to talk about insider information or guaranteed locks or any of that nonsense you've heard 1,000 times before. If that's what you're looking for, honestly, this isn't for you. What I'm going to share with you is something different. It's the exact system I use to make betting decisions. A system that operates in the 70 to 80% win rate range over time. Not by predicting the future, that's impossible, but by stacking probability at every stage and eliminating bad decisions before they cost you money. Let me explain what that actually means, because this is where everything changes. Most people approach betting like this. They open the app, they look at some odds, maybe check a few stats, watch a YouTube video or two, then they think, yeah, this looks good, and they place the bet. That's not a system. That's just hope with extra steps. Here's what I do differently. I don't bet on a match because it looks good. I bet on a match because it has survived 5 layers of filtering. And at each layer, I'm adding probability to my side. Think of it like building a wall. Not with bricks, but with decision layers. Each layer makes the wall stronger. Each filter increases your edge. Let me break down exactly how this works with real numbers. Step 1 is mindset and thinking. This is where most people start and where most people stay. Without a system, without filters, without process, you're basically flipping a coin. Maybe you hit 50, 55% if you watch football regularly and you're smart. But that's not enough to be profitable, not even close, because bookmakers take a 5 to 10% margin on every bet. So even at 55%, you're losing money over time. When you learn to think like a process-driven bettor instead of an outcome-driven gambler, everything shifts. That you stop betting on matches just because they're on TV, or because you like a team, or because the odds look high. You start asking, does this match actually deserve my money? That alone eliminates about 60% of bad bets before they happen. Your win probability is still around 50 to 55%, but you're betting way less often, which means you're losing less money on coin flips. Step 2 is finding golden opportunities. This is where you learn to hunt instead of browse. Most people scroll through 50 leagues, 200 matches, hoping something jumps out. That's not hunting, that's gambling. Golden opportunities are matches where structural advantages exist, like a mid-table team with nothing to play for, facing a team fighting relegation, or a top team resting players before a cup final, or a team on brutal fixture congestion playing 3 matches in 7 days. These situations create incentive mismatches that the market often misprices. When you filter for league quality, table pressure, schedule stress, intent clarity, you're no longer betting random matches, you're betting matches where context gives you an edge. This adds 15 to 20% to your base probability. You're now at 65 to 70% win rates on the matches you choose. But we don't stop there. Step 3 is match analysis. Now you found a match worth analyzing. But real analysis isn't just checking stats. It's asking the right questions in the right order. How does the bookmaker see this match? What are the pre-match signals? What do both teams actually need? How will this match unfold? Are there hidden constraints like fatigue or travel or emotional exhaustion? When you go through this process with a checklist, not from memory, you eliminate another layer of uncertainty. You're not just betting on a good matchup anymore. You're betting on a match where you understand the forces at play better than the market does. This adds another 10 to 15%. You're now at 75 to 85% win rate on carefully selected and analyzed matches. But here's where most analysts stop and where they still lose money. This is where things change. Step 4 is strategy and market selection. You've done great analysis, you know the match inside and out. But if you bet the wrong market, you lose anyway. Strategy is about alignment. Does this match fit 1x2, or is the value an Asian handicap? Is this a both teams to score game, or an under 2.5 goals game? Should you bet a single, or combine it with another match? Are you getting value, or are you forcing a bet because you spent time analyzing? When you align your analysis with the right market at the right price, you squeeze out every bit of edge available. This adds another 5 to 10%. You're now at 80 to 90% win rate, but only on the small number of matches that pass all 4 filters. And here's the key. Even at 80 to 90%, you still lose some bets. That's where step 5 comes in. Step 5 is live protection. Live protection doesn't increase your win rate. It does something better. It minimizes your losses when you're wrong. Most people, when a bet goes sideways, they panic, they hope, they watch helplessly as the match slips away. They lose 100% of their stake. I have a protection plan before the match even starts. If I bet over 2.5 goals and it's 0-0 at halftime, I know exactly when and how to hedge. If I bet Team A to win and they go down 1-0 early, I know whether to cut losses, let it ride, or partial hedge. If I have a 3-match accumulator and 2 have won, I know exactly how to lock profit on the third. Live protection is about damage control. Let's say you bet 10 matches in a week. 7 matches win, full profit collected. 3 matches lose, but because you protected them, your loss is 40 to 60% smaller. Here's a real example. Without protection, you bet 100 euros on 10 matches. That's 1,000 euros total staked. 7 win at average odds of 1.80. That's 560 euros profit. 3 lose, that's 300 euros lost. Net profit, 260 euros. With protection, same scenario. 7 win, 560 euros profit. 3 lose, but you hedge and protect, so you only lose 120 euros instead of 300. Net profit, 440 euros. That's 69% more profit. Not by winning more, but by losing less. So here's what probability stacking actually looks like. Step 1, mindset, eliminates 60% of bad bets. Baseline 50 to 55% win rate. Step 2, golden opportunities, find structural edges, adds 15 to 20%. You're at 65 to 75%. Step 3, match analysis, confirms value exists, adds 10 to 15%. You're at 75 to 85%. Step 4, strategy, aligns analysis with the right market, adds 5 to 10%. You're at 80 to 90%. Step 5, live protection, cuts losses by 50 to 70%. Same win rate, but far more profitable. The result, you're winning 7 to 8 out of 10 bets. And when you lose those 2 or 3, you're losing half as much as you used to. That's the difference between breaking even and being consistently profitable. Now let me tell you something important. Anyone claiming 100% winning is lying. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being harsh. They're lying. There's no logic behind it. If someone truly had 100% sure bets, matches that never lose, why would they bother selling them to you? Why wouldn't they just take out a loan, bet everything they have, and retire in a month? Why would they need your 50 or 100 euro subscription fee if they're swimming in guaranteed profit? Because they're not winning, they're selling hope. They're exploiting frustration. And I know this because I've been there. I've bought the VIP insider tips. I've joined the exclusive Telegram groups. I've paid for 95% sure locks, and I lost over and over. Not because I was stupid, but because I believed the hype. I believed that someone out there had cracked the code and was generously sharing it with strangers for pocket change. That's not how this works. Being a victim of those scams taught me something critical. If you want to win consistently, you need a system, not tips, not luck, a process. And that's what I built. I built this system because I was tired. Tired of losing, tired of feeling stupid, tired of repeating the same mistakes, tired of believing hype, and most of all, tired of not having a plan, so I created one. I took everything I learned working inside a bookmaker, everything I figured out through years of trial and error, every lesson learned from every bad bet, every late goal, every what was I thinking moment, and I turned it into a step-by-step process that anyone can follow, not just me, not just sharps, anyone who's willing to trade hope for discipline. And now I'm going to walk you through it. Not in theory, not in vague concepts, step by step, module by module, filter by filter. You're going to see how I think, how I analyze, how I decide, how I protect, and by the end you'll have the same system I use, not because I'm special, but because the system works, regardless of who's using it. But first, let me tell you how I got here. Because if you're going to trust this system, you need to understand where it came from. You need to see that I've been frustrated, losing, searching for answers, and I need to show you how I found them. So before we dive into the system itself, before we talk about filters and checklists and probability stacking, let me tell you my story, not to brag, not to sell you a dream, but to show you that this is possible, that there's a way out. And it starts with understanding how I went from chaos to consistency, from hope to process, from losing to winning 7 out of 10. Let me show you how it happened. I've always loved betting on football, not the mindless scroll through odds kind of love, the real kind, where you stay up late analyzing formations, studying records, convincing yourself that this time you've cracked it. I wasn't a beginner. I wasn't some degenerate throwing money at anything that moved. I was stuck in the middle. Smart enough to know the basics, but not disciplined enough to stop the bleeding. Every morning started the same way. Eyes open, phone unlocked, betting app launched. Just to check the odds, I'd tell myself. Just browsing, just staying informed. Then came the Telegram groups, the WhatsApp pings, lock, 95% sure. Inside info. I didn't believe them, not fully, but I didn't dismiss them either. Because what if? What if this one time they actually knew something? That doubt, that tiny crack of possibility, kept me hooked. By midday, I'd be at work, but my mind was elsewhere. If I could just fix this betting thing, it would help a lot financially. There was always this low hum of shame, not loud, just there, like background static. I'd tell myself I'll be more disciplined today, but I knew. Deep down, I knew I was lying. Afternoon was when things got messy. I'd start with the odds, then stats, then head-to-head records, then YouTube expert analysis, then some random forum post. From 2019, every source said something different. One said over 2.5 goals. Another said under. Someone else screamed both teams to score, no doubt. The more I researched, the less I knew. Confusion became certainty. Certainty became a bet slip. By evening, I had my picks. 2, maybe 4 matches, carefully selected, logically sound. On paper, this should win. I'd build the ticket, feel that tiny dopamine surge as I pressed place bet. For a few hours, I felt smart, in control, like I'd finally figured it out. Then it happened. 1 red card, 1 late goal, 1 VR decision that made no sense. The ticket, dead. Anger. Silence. Phone flipped face down on the table. I didn't talk about it. Not with friends, not with family, not even with myself really, just moved on. And the next day, I did it all over again. I thought I wanted sure bets, high odds, consistent wins, someone who really knew what they were talking about, but that wasn't it. What I actually craved was control, predictability. I wanted to stop feeling stupid every time a 90-minute goal ruined everything. I wanted to stop repeating the same mistakes week after week, month after month. I didn't want to win today. I wanted to stop losing the same way. There were nights I'd lie awake thinking, what if betting is just luck? What if I'm not as smart as I think? What if I keep wasting money for years and never figure this out? The worst part? Losing to randomness felt embarrassing. Losing to people who knew less than me felt unbearable. I hated being grouped with gamblers. I wasn't one of them. I studied, I analyzed, I thought, but my results, they told a different story. Looking back, I see it clearly now. I was doing everything backwards. I started with matches, not filters. I started with odds, not incentives. I believed information equals edge. I thought more bets equals more chances. I confused confidence with probability. Every loss I'd tell myself, unlucky, rigged. This league is crazy. I knew I shouldn't have bet it. But the truth? I didn't have a system. I had opinions. I had feelings. I had hope. And hope doesn't win bets. Then everything changed. I started working at a bookmaker as a sports trader, watching how odds are actually created, how probability is calculated and adjusted, how injuries, lineups, weather, motivation really affect odds, when odds moves are real info versus fake movement, and so on. And I started to see it, the patterns, the psychology, the way bookmakers structured odds, the way they wanted you to think. I learned that sharp bettors don't bet often. They don't chase, they don't react, they wait. I learned that value isn't high odds. It's the gap between probability and price. I learned that the house doesn't care if you win once, they care if you lose systematically. And most importantly, I learned that betting isn't about being right. It's about being consistent. Period. Let me be honest with you, that hit me like a freight train. Armed with this new knowledge, I started winning more. Word spread. I became a bit of a celebrity at the local bookmaker. People asked for tips. They watched my slips. They celebrated when I won. But here's the truth nobody talks about. I still wasn't consistent. Some weeks I'd crush it. Other weeks I'd give it all back because I was still emotion-driven, still betting on feelings, still overriding logic when a match felt right. I knew the concepts, I understood the math, but under pressure, I'd abandon everything. One bad day and I'd start chasing. One good day and I'd get cocky. One sure thing and I'd overbet. I was still trapped. That's when it hit me. Knowing doesn't equal doing. I had all this knowledge locked inside my head, but no way to apply it when emotions kicked in. So I made a decision. I was going to build a system. Not tips, not picks. A decision framework I could follow every single time, no matter how I felt. I started creating checklists, templates, filters I could apply before I even looked at a match. Questions like, does this match meet my criteria? Am I betting value or hope? Would I bet this if the odds were lower? Am I betting because of analysis or because I want to bet? Slowly, the system took shape. And something incredible happened. I started winning consistently. Not every bet, but my win rate climbed to 70 to 80%. And that made me profitable, because in betting, you don't need to be right every time. You need to be consistent. You need to protect your bankroll more than you grow it. You need to eliminate bad decisions before they happen. After years of chaos, losses, and that sinking feeling every time a late goal killed my ticket, I finally built something that changed everything. Not a magic formula, not insider tips, a system, a process, a way to make decisions that doesn't rely on hope, hype, or how I'm feeling that day. This is the probability stack betting system, and I'm going to walk you through it module by module, exactly as I teach it. Module 1 is how smart bettors actually make money. This is where everything starts, and it's probably the opposite of what you've been told. In lesson 1, I break down how smart bettors actually make money. Most people think sharp bettors win because they know more, that they have inside info or some secret stat site. Wrong. Smart bettors make money because they bet less. They filter out noise. They wait for edges. They don't chase action. I break down the actual math behind profitable betting, not theory, the numbers that show you why betting less and betting better is the only path that works long term. You'll finally understand why your good analysis hasn't been making you money. And you'll see the path forward clearly, logically, with no BS. Lesson 2 is why most bettors lose money. This one hurts, but it's necessary. I show you the exact traps that keep people stuck. Starting with matches instead of filters. Confusing confidence with probability. Chasing losses with sure things. Building tickets based on hope, not value. Betting because you want to, not because you should. I don't sugarcoat it. I walk you through scenarios you'll recognize instantly because you've lived them. You'll see your own mistakes reflected back at you. And instead of feeling shame, you'll feel relief because now you know it wasn't your fault. You just didn't have the right framework. Lesson 3 is the smart match mindset. This is where the shift happens. I teach you how to think like a process-driven bettor, not an outcome-driven gambler. How to separate a good bet from a good result. Why protecting your bankroll matters more than growing it. How to stay calm when matches don't go your way. why discipline beats intelligence every single time. You'll stop beating yourself up after losses. You'll stop getting cocky after wins. You'll start thinking in systems, not sessions. Next. Module 2 is match analysis, the foundation. This is where most people think they're strong, but they're not, because they're analyzing the wrong things in the wrong order. Lesson 1, how bookmakers see matches. I worked inside a bookmaker. I saw how odds are built, how they adjust, what they're designed to make you think. I pull back the curtain. You'll learn how bookmakers price matches, why odds move and what it actually means, where their margins hide, how to spot when they're unsure. You'll stop seeing odds as truth. You'll start seeing them as opinions you can challenge. Lesson 2, where match analysis actually starts. Forget stats, forget head-to-head records, forget YouTube videos. Real analysis starts with context. I teach you how to ask the right questions before you even look at a match. Why is this match happening? What do both teams need? What are they willing to risk? What external factors matter? You'll stop wasting hours on meaningless data. You'll cut straight to what actually moves outcomes. Lesson 3, turning odds into real probability. This is where math meets reality. Bookmaker odds don't reflect true probability. They reflect their margin plus public perception. I show you how to convert odds into implied probability. Strip out the bookmaker's edge. Compare that to your own assessment. Identify when value actually exists. You'll stop betting because the odds are good. You'll start betting because the math makes sense. Lesson 4, pre-match signals. Not all information is equal. I teach you the signals that actually matter, lineup changes and why they happen, injury timing, recent versus long-term, press conference tone and language, betting market movements, and what they reveal. You'll know what to watch and what to ignore. No more information overload, just clarity. Lesson 5, incentive and motivation mapping. This is one of the most powerful concepts in the entire system. Football isn't played in a vacuum. Teams have incentives, chasing promotion, avoiding relegation, resting for bigger matches, playing for manager survival, protecting goal difference. I teach you how to map these incentives and predict behavior before the whistle blows. You'll stop being surprised when a favorite doesn't show up. You'll see it coming and you won't bet it. Lesson 6, game script scenarios. Every match has multiple possible scripts. Most people only see one. I teach you how to visualize how the match will likely unfold, what happens if team A scores first, what happens if team B goes down early, how tactics shift based on score and time. You'll stop betting blind, you'll bet with scenario awareness, knowing what you need and what could go wrong. Lesson 7, tactical compatibility. Some matchups are predictable, others are chaos. I show you how to read formation clashes, pressing styles versus defensive setups, counterattack opportunities, set-piece vulnerabilities. You'll spot mismatches the market hasn't priced in, and you'll avoid coin flip matches disguised as value. Lesson 8, hidden constraints. This is where most people get burned. Hidden constraints are things that don't show up in stats. Missing key players, not just stars, too many matches in a short period, fixture congestion, travel fatigue, especially international breaks, emotional exhaustion after cup runs or derbies. I teach you how to spot these silent killers before you place a bet. You'll avoid matches that look good on paper but are traps waiting to happen. Lesson 9, final pre-match analysis. This is the culmination, the checklist. I give you a step-by-step template you fill out before every bet. If a match doesn't pass the filter, you don't bet it. Simple. No more second guessing, no more gut feelings. Just a clear yes or no based on logic, not emotion. Next. Module 3 is strategy, turning analysis into action. Analysis means nothing if you don't know what to bet or how to structure it. This module is where your edge becomes executable. Lesson 1, understanding betting markets. Most people stick to 1x2 because it's simple, but the real value, it's often hidden in alternative markets. I break down how each market works, when each market has value, which markets are safer versus riskier, how bookmakers price different markets. You'll expand your toolkit without increasing risk. You'll find value where others don't even look. Lesson 2, match market alignment. This is critical. Not every match fits every market. A strong favorite might be bad for 1x2, but perfect for team total over. A defensive clash might be terrible for both teams to score, but great for under 2.5. I teach you market alignment, how to match your analysis to the right bet type. You'll stop forcing bets. You'll only bet when the match and market are perfectly aligned. Lesson 3, using stats the right way. Stats don't lie, but they don't tell the whole truth either. I show you which stats actually matter and which are noise, how to adjust stats for context, home, away, opponent strength, motivation, how to combine stats with incentive mapping, when to trust stats and when to ignore them. Stats become tools, not crutches. You'll use them to confirm logic, not replace it. Lesson 4, turning analysis and stats into final market selection. This is where everything comes together. You've done the analysis, you've checked the stats. Now what? I give you a decision tree that takes you from this match looks interesting to this is the exact market I'm betting and here's why. No more paralysis, no more I think this could work, just clear, confident, actionable decisions. Lesson 5, how many matches to play. One of the biggest mistakes, betting too many matches. I teach you why fewer bets equals more profit, how to determine your optimal bet frequency, the danger of filling out a ticket, when to bet singles versus multiples. You'll stop throwing away good analysis by diluting it with weak bets. Quality over quantity becomes automatic. Lesson 6, ticket creation. This is the final step before you press place bet. I walk you through how to structure singles, doubles, and accumulators, when to combine markets versus keep them separate, how to calculate risk-reward on every ticket, the psychology of ticket building, and how to avoid traps. Every ticket you build will have a reason. No more random combinations. No more let's see what happens. Now, let me tell you about Ryan. 32 years old, from Luton, works in warehouse, smart guy, been betting for 4 years. When he came to me, he was frustrated, angry even. I do everything right, he said. I research, I analyze, I compare odds, and I still lose. Sound familiar? Ryan wasn't losing because he was stupid. He was losing because he had no filter. He'd spend 2 hours analyzing a match, convince himself it was solid, then add 3 more matches to boost the odds. Classic trap. I walked him through Module 2 and Module 3, showed him the incentive mapping lesson, taught him match market alignment. Within 2 weeks, his betting changed completely. He went from betting 15 to 20 matches a week to 5 to 10. He went from chasing odds to chasing value. He went from hoping to knowing. 1 month later, he messaged me, I'm not rich, but I'm finally profitable. And more importantly, I'm not angry anymore. I know what I'm doing. That's what this system does. It doesn't promise you'll retire next year. It doesn't promise Lamborghinis. It promises control, and control leads to consistency, and consistency leads to profit. Now you might be thinking, I already know most of this stuff. Ryan knew the concepts too. He'd watched hours of YouTube videos, read articles, followed tipsters. But knowing isn't doing. The system gave him templates, checklists, filters he could apply under pressure when emotions kicked in and logic tried to leave. That's the difference. All right, let's continue. Module 4 is live protection, the secret weapon. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. Most money is lost after you place the bet, not because your analysis was wrong, but because you didn't have a plan for what happens next. Lesson 1, why live betting is where most money is lost. Live betting feels like opportunity. It feels like control. But it's actually where panic, hope, and greed destroy bankrolls. I show you why chasing live odds is a trap, how bookmakers adjust lines to exploit emotion, the psychology of I can still save this, why most live bets are negative expected value. You'll stop throwing good money after this. You'll see live betting for what it is and use it strategically, not emotionally. Lessons 2 through 7, how to protect every market. This is where the system gets tactical. I dedicate one full lesson to protecting each major market. 1x2 protection. Over/under protection, both teams to score protection, Asian handicap protection, team totals protection, result plus goals protection. Each lesson includes when protection makes sense, when to let it ride, exact hedge calculations, real match examples. You'll have a protection playbook for every bet type, no more guessing, no more panic hedging at terrible odds. Lesson 8, advanced hedge tactics. Not all hedges are equal. I teach you partial hedging, locking profit while keeping upside, cross-market hedging, using different markets to protect, timing your hedge early versus late when hedging is costing you money. You'll hedge intelligently, not desperately. You'll maximize profit, minimize loss, and stay calm throughout. Lesson 9, ticket combo and multi-ticket protection. What if you have a 3-match accumulator and 2 already won? What if you have multiple singles running at once? I show you how to protect complex ticket structures without losing your mind or overpaying for safety. Even your multi-bet strategies will have downside protection. You'll never feel helpless mid-match again. Lesson 10, advanced protection scenarios. Real matches get messy. Red cards, VAR, injuries, chaos. I walk you through advanced scenarios. What to do when a key player gets injured 20 minutes in. How to adjust when the game script flips, when a red card helps you or hurts you. How to react to unexpected lineup changes. You'll have mental models for chaos. When others panic, you'll execute. Lesson 11, when not to protect plus complete hedge map. Sometimes the best protection is no protection. I teach you when hedging kills long-term profit, how to identify let-it-ride situations, the math behind when protection is negative expected value, a complete hedge decision map, template included. You'll never overhedge, you'll never underhedge. You'll make the optimal decision every time based on logic, not fear. Module 5 is golden opportunities where the real money is. Most people bet too often. They bet because matches are on TV, because it's the weekend, because they're bored. Golden opportunities are different. They're the matches where everything aligns, where value is screaming at you, where the market hasn't caught up to reality. This module teaches you how to hunt them. Lesson 1, where profitable matches even come from. Not all matches are created equal. I show you the structural conditions that create value. Market inefficiencies when the public is wrong. Incentive mismatches when motivation isn't priced in. Information gaps when you know something the market doesn't. You'll stop betting random matches. You'll start targeting the ones that actually offer an edge. Lesson 2, league selection. Some leagues are gold mines, others are coin flips. I teach you which leagues have predictable patterns, which leagues are chaotic and should be avoided, how to identify value leagues based on market efficiency, why lower leagues often offer better opportunities. You'll build a league shortlist, your hunting ground. No more scrolling endlessly through 50 leagues hoping something looks good. Lesson 3, table pressure. Position in the table creates pressure, and pressure creates predictability. I show you how to exploit teams fighting relegation, desperate for points, teams chasing promotion, high motivation, mid-table teams with nothing to play for, low motivation, top teams protecting leads versus chasing titles. You'll spot motivation mismatches before the market does, and you'll profit from them. Lesson 4, season timing. Football is seasonal. Behavior changes based on when in the season a match happens. I teach you early season chaos, teams still finding form, mid-season stability, patterns emerge, late season desperation, everything matters, post-clinch letdowns, teams with nothing left to play for. You'll know when to bet aggressively and when to stay away. Timing becomes part of your edge. Lesson 5, schedule stress and priority pressure. Some teams are playing every 3 days, others are fresh. Some teams have a cup final coming, others have nothing but league matches. I show you how to map schedule stress and priority pressure. fixture congestion, fatigue and rotation, cup runs, divided focus, European competition, energy management, Derby weeks, emotional drain. You'll avoid traps where tired teams are priced like fresh ones. And you'll back teams with clear focus and energy. Lesson 6, intent clarity. Does this team actually care about this match? I teach you how to assess intent, manager quotes and press conferences, lineup leaks and rotation patterns, historical behavior in similar situations, risk tolerance based on standings. You'll know when a favorite is just going through the motions, and you won't bet them. Lesson 7, coach check. Managers matter a lot. I show you how to evaluate managerial style, attacking, defensive, pragmatic. When managerial changes create value, new manager bounce or chaos, how to spot managers under pressure, desperation bets, tactical matchups between coaches. You'll factor in leadership, the invisible force that stats can't capture. Lesson 8, odds confirmation. You've done the analysis. You found a golden opportunity. But before you bet, you need odds confirmation. Is the market seeing what you're seeing? Are the odds out of line with your assessment? Is there reverse line movement, sharp money? Are you getting value or are you forcing it? This final check prevents you from betting good analysis at bad prices. Value is confirmed or you walk away. Lesson 9, information reality check. Sometimes the market knows something you don't. I teach you how to sense when information is missing, when to trust your analysis versus trust the market, red flags that signal you're betting blind, when to pass even if everything looks good. You'll avoid disaster bets, you'll stay humble, and you'll protect your bankroll from hidden risks. Lesson 10, golden opportunity process plus real match walkthrough. This is where I tie it all together. I walk you through the complete golden opportunity process step by step, using real matches. You'll see how I filter leagues, how I assess table pressure, how I map incentives, how I confirm odds, how I make the final decision. You'll have a repeatable process you can apply to any match, any league, any time. No guessing, just execution. Now let me tell you about Dimitri, 27 years old, from Sofia, works in marketing, been betting for 3 years, smart, analytical, frustrated. When Dimitri found me, he was stuck in what I call analysis paralysis. He'd research for hours, check every stat, read every article, watch every YouTube breakdown, and then he'd bet on whatever match was on TV that night. All that work wasted. I feel like I'm doing everything right, he told me, but I keep losing. Maybe betting is just luck. That question, that fear, what if betting is just luck? What if I'm wasting my time? I showed him Module 5, taught him golden opportunities, walked him through league selection, table pressure, schedule stress. And then I told him something that changed everything. Dimitri, you don't have a research problem. You have a filter problem. You're analyzing 20 matches when you should be hunting 2. He started using the golden opportunity checklist. He stopped betting because matches were on. He started betting because matches qualified. 2 months later, his win rate jumped from 45 to 68%. But more importantly, he told me this: I finally feel in control. I'm not guessing anymore. I'm not hoping. I know what I'm looking for, and I only bet when I find it. That's control, not winning every bet, but trusting your process, knowing that over time, if you follow the system, the results will come. Now you might be thinking, I don't have time for all this analysis. Dimitri thought he didn't have time either, but here's what happened. Once he stopped analyzing every match and started filtering first, his research time dropped by 70%. The system doesn't add work, it eliminates it. You spend less time researching because you're only researching matches that pass the filter. You're not betting more, you're betting smarter. All right, let's continue. Module 6 is tools and automation. Work smarter, not harder. Look, everything I've taught you so far is powerful, but it's also detailed. It requires focus. It requires discipline. And if you're doing it all manually, it can feel overwhelming. That's why Module 6 exists. I show you the exact tools and automation I use. Track league performance, which leagues are profitable for my system. Monitor table pressure, automatic alerts for relegation battles, promotion chases, flag schedule stress, teams playing 3 matches in 7 days, aggregate lineup news, real-time injury and rotation updates, automate odds comparison, finding the best prices across bookmakers, and analyze my bets, tracking what works and what doesn't. You'll cut your research time by 50 to 70%. You'll make faster, better decisions. And you'll never miss a golden opportunity because you weren't paying attention. I don't just list tools. I show you how to use them inside the system, how to set up custom filters, how to build automated watch lists, how to integrate tools into your workflow, how to avoid tool overload using only what matters. You'll have a streamlined workflow that makes betting feel effortless. The system becomes a habit, not a chore. So let me be clear about what the system includes. Every module is taught via video lessons. Short, straight to the point, no fluff, no 1-hour rambling. Just the information you need explained clearly. Every module includes fillable templates and checklists, so you're never guessing. You follow the process, fill out the template, and the decision makes itself. Every lesson has text summaries, so you can review concepts quickly without rewatching videos. The system is usable from day one. You don't need to finish the entire course to start applying it. Each module builds on the last, but you can start betting better immediately. This isn't theory, it's execution. So here's where we are. You can keep doing what you're doing. Keep scrolling through odds, keep hoping the next bet is the one, keep losing the same way, or you can try something different. The probability stack betting system is the next logical step. It's not a magic wand. It's not a shortcut. It's a framework that works if you apply it. And here's the reality. One avoided bad bet pays for the entire system. Think about it. How much did your last bad bet cost you? 50 euros, 100, 200. This system costs less than a coffee a day, and it's designed to help you avoid those mistakes entirely. So if you avoid just one bad bet this month, you're already ahead. But it's not just about avoiding losses. It's about building a process you can trust, a system you can follow, a way to finally feel in control. Not hyped, not hoping, in control. If that's what you're looking for, this is it. Click the link below. Get access to the entire system. Start applying it today, and finally, stop losing the same way. This is your way out. Not hype, not hope. Just a clear, logical, repeatable process that works. Let's do this.